What's going on, everybody? This is Bobby G back again with another Saturday Shpiel. This one's going to be a little different because the parashat reading, the last reading of the Torah before Simchat Torah, when the scroll gets rolled back, does not happen on Shabbat. It happens at the end of the current festival that we're in, and I do need to give some apologies for that. We are on day 5 of the festival of Sukkot, which is the Feast of Tabernacles, also the Feast of the Later Harvest. There's Passover, the Feast of Weeks, also known as Shavuot, which is the Feast of the Early Harvest, and now we're in the Feast of the Late Harvest. And I should have started that earlier this week when it started, Monday night. I didn't. I was supposed to, so first I want to say I'm sorry for that. I should have been on top of that, and I wasn't. That being said, what are we today? Well, before we get to that, let me say what we did for scriptures for the past 4 days. Leviticus chapter 22, verse 26 to chapter 23, verse 44 for day 1. Numbers chapter 29, verses 12 through 16. Zechariah chapter 14, verses 1 through 21. Revelation chapter 7, verses 1 through 10. That's for day 1. For day 2, 1 Kings chapter 8, verses 2 through 21. For day 3, Numbers chapter 29, verses 17 through 22, and Revelation chapter 19, verses 1 through 16. And yesterday, which is day 4, Numbers chapter 29, verses 20 through 25. Today, and day 5, it is Numbers chapter 29, verses 23 through 28. Tomorrow, it's going to be Exodus chapter 33, verse 12 to chapter 34, verse 26. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 18 to chapter 39, verse 16. And Revelation chapter 19, verses 1 through 16. For day 7, which is going to be on the following day, on Monday, it's going to be Numbers chapter 29, verses 36 through 34, and John chapter 7, verses 1 and 2, and 37 through 34. And then on that following 8th day, the festival goes for 7 days, and then the 8th day, which is to cap it all off, which is a day of solemn assembly, which I'll be reiterating these in the future days. It'll be Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 22 to chapter 16, verse 17. Numbers chapter 29, verse 35 to chapter 30, verse 1. 1 Kings chapter 8, verses 54 to 66. And Matthew chapter 17, verses 1 through 9. Again, I'm sorry I didn't get all of these in earlier. I should have. I didn't. So that's on me for not doing that. But this is an unusual Saturday Shpiel because it doesn't quite fall on a usual text. Again, usually there's a parashat that I've been doing for a while now throughout the last year, I should say. And so when we do Simchat Torah, I will be back to finish that up and to reiterate the other scriptures from the other days, and we will be getting into that. And then following this particular video next week, on the next Shabbat Shpiel, or Saturday Shpiel, we will be starting over. We will have done Simchat Torah by that point, and we will roll back the scroll, and we will be starting again, back at the beginning, in Genesis. So hopefully y'all join me and be here for next week. But I just wanted to run back the scriptures for the Feast of Sukkot, which we're currently in, again, day 5. And in Numbers, the current day we're talking about, these are the 7 days, and each of these 7 days in the book of Numbers, which is repeated every day of the week except for one, and that's tomorrow, day 6. The reason for that is because they're recounting both the festival itself, what you're supposed to do for the Festival of Tabernacles or the Feast of Tabernacles, and also why the Feast of Tabernacles is celebrated, which goes back to Exodus, of the fleeing from Egypt and the deliverance and the provision. So I just wanted to do a quick video on that for this Saturday Shpiel. Like I said, next week we will be back to your usual schedule of programming, and we'll be getting back to regular Saturday Shpiel. But by then we will do Simchat Torah, which I will do a video on later this coming week. Before we get to that, so hope to see y'all then. Hope to see everybody coming back. If you need the scriptures for this past week, for the last few days, as well as for the next few days to finish up the festival, please send me a DM, let me know, and I will be happy to get those to you. This is Bobby G, aka Bobby Bookworm, Saturday Shpiel, as always. Hope you all are blessed, and hope to see y'all, Lord willing, next week. Peace.